Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another video on the Baby Back Rib Show. Just got through another week of the NFL, week 10 already. I think that was. Yeah, week 10. We're already past week 10, which is just absolutely insane. So, we got to do some power rankings here. Honestly, compared to most of the weeks this season, not a lot of teams moving around. I will say a lot of the teams that are moving around are at the bottom. Like a lot of the bottom feeders this week, switch spots. A lot of teams I thought were worse are actually better. So you'll see when we get there. But the number one pick competition right now is looking really interesting. There's not really a clear-cut team that can take the number one pick. Because if you ask me, it'd be like the Panthers or the Patriots, but they're beating teams right now. And, they might be beating bottom feeders, but they're still beating teams. So I honestly don't know who's going to take the number one pick. Is it going to be the Titans? Is it going to be the Giants? I don't know. It's going to be a fun race, honestly, to watch on who can suck the most to get that number one overall pick. But let's hop into these power rankings. So actually, the top five stays the exact same for me from last week. We're going with Lions at 1. I argue with the wall, to be honest with you. The Lions are the most complete team in the NFL. This team just beat the Houston Texans in Houston with their quarterback throwing 5 interceptions, and they still won. This is the most complete team in football. It's not even close. Don't even want to hear it. Lions at number 1. And coming in at number 2, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, I'll take that back. It is close. It is close, but I still think the Lions are the most complete team in football right now. But the Chiefs, obviously, very complete. I will say, though, and I know I'm a D1 Chiefs hater. I'll fully admit it. I'll fully admit that. But I will say that the Chiefs have been beating some suspect teams by like one score. Like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who actually are playing really well without their top 2 weapons, like better than we thought they would. They just had a super hard schedule. Barely beat them in overtime. And then this past week, you had them playing the Denver Broncos, and which they probably had a 90% chance to lose. And of course, the football gods hate us, so the Chiefs did not lose. They blocked the field goal, and they are 9-0. But I will say they're 9-0, but it's starting to look a little sus. Coming in at number 3, we're going to have the Baltimore Ravens. I would say that this is a pretty common top 3 among power rankings right now. I mean, I think these are the main 3 teams that are in the category of being able to make a Super Bowl. Coming in at number 4, and I'm actually going to drop it down a tier now. Although this team is 8-2, they're looking very hot. I just don't know if I could see them in the Super Bowl. But we have the Buffalo Bills coming in at number 4. They've just been winning games. Like 8-2, that is very solid. But yeah, this team has just been quietly winning games. Josh Allen's having an MVP season. Love to see it. And then coming in at number 5, we have the Philadelphia Eagles, who look so complete right now. They are firing on all cylinders. This team with Saquon, with their defense playing how they're playing, I mean, this team just looks really, really good right now. The top 5 does not change. Like these teams, even down to each spot, like I had Lions at 1, Chiefs at 2, it stays the exact same. But coming in at number 6, we have a team that's jumping up 2 spots, and this is the best I've ever seen this team play, and it's kind of scary. The Pittsburgh Steelers come in at number 6. Like I said, being a Ravens fan, this is the best Steelers team I've seen personally since the Killer Bees era. The Steelers look so good. Their offense finally has a little bit of a spark. Their defense is very solid as always. They did give up 27 points to the Commanders, but I mean the Commanders have a very, very good offense, so I'm not too worried about that. But as a Ravens fan, this kind of worries me, and oh my gosh, Sunday is going to be such a good game. I cannot wait to watch that. Coming in at number 7, we have a team that actually dropped 1 spot who was at the number 6 spot. But they were on a bye, so I wouldn't really look too much into it. We have the Green Bay Packers, who I think I'm going to throw in the NFC Championship loss. I could very well see them reaching the NFC Championship this year. But yeah, the Packers, I mean, on the same boat as the Eagles and Steelers, just very complete. I mean, all of these teams, to be honest, I would say out of all these teams, the Ravens definitely have the worst defense, which is just crazy to me. Um, but the Packers look very complete on both sides of the ball. Jordan Love, doing what he can to win games. But yeah, Packers having a good season so far. Coming in at number 8, we have a team that actually jumped up 3 spots, but they lost. So I think it's more just teams dropping and disappointing rather than this team actually like jumping up. They did almost beat, Detroit though. I'm gonna have the Houston Texans come in at number 8, and I'm looking at this. I think honestly I'm gonna throw them in that NFC AFC Championship loss tier. CJ Stroud already has some playoff experience. I could see them making a decent playoff run. This is a very complete team as well. They have to close games, and I think that just comes with being a young team. This is a young, complete, solid team. And yeah, they blew a game against Detroit, but you're talking about the best team in football. The fact that you picked Jared Goff off 5 times, and had such a dominant first half. I think you got to look at that as a win. Obviously, you didn't want to lose the game, but I think the Texans are a solid team. They just need to close games and not be in so many weird games. I don't know why the Houston Texans are just attracted to being in the weirdest freaking NFL games this season. I don't know. I have no idea why. Coming in at number 9, we actually have another team that jumped up 3 spots, who actually lost as well. They did have a very good game though, and they lost controversially, and I guess so did the Texans. There's some PI talks on that last Texans drive, but the Commanders come in at number 9, and I'm gonna drop them down to the playoff win tier. But yeah, 1-point game against the Steelers. A lot of people arguing that Zach Ertz did get that first down. Whether he did or not, still a great game. 2 very good football teams, and I don't think if either of those teams lost, it should take away too much from them. But they do jump up 3 spots. Like I said, I think it's just because a lot of teams are dropping. And coming in at number 10, this is ridiculous that I'm saying this, and I don't even know. I don't feel right putting them in this tier, but I guess I am. The hometown team, Arizona Cardinals, come in at number 10 at 6-4. 6-4. The Arizona Cardinals are currently 6-4 after a blowout win to the New York Jets. That's ridiculous. Yeah, you love to see it. They jump up 3 spots here. They were at number 13, but the Cardinals are in the top 10, and I could honestly, now that I'm looking at this, I could see them winning a playoff game somehow, like a random wild card game. Against like a random NFC team like the freaking, I don't know, the Seahawks or something, like someone that just barely sneaks in. Well, they probably wouldn't play them. They'd probably play a better team, but I could see them honestly like winning an upset wild card game. I don't know. This Cardinals team is so weird this year. I did not expect them to be this good. Coming in at number 11, we have another NFC West team. That's going to be the LA Rams. Where are they at? Here they are. And I don't feel right putting them in the playoff win tier, so I think they could get in the, well, let me look at the teams that are below them. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to drop it down to here. Yeah, the LA Rams lost to Miami last night. Obviously, not the best outcome. It was a really bad game, to be honest. Matthew Stafford didn't play too well, but I think this is still a solid team going forward. I could see them, sneaking into the playoffs. It's crazy to me though that the Cardinals are a division leader right now in the NFC West. It's ridiculous. The Rams are at 4-5, by the way. Coming in at number 12, we have a team that's going to be 7-2, so the record definitely shows they should be higher. But I'm not gonna lie, and I'm a huge fan of this team. Don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. I'm a huge fan of this team. But their schedule is kind of cake, and I'm realizing that right now. I had the Minnesota Vikings coming into the playoff loss here. Like, they did have that win against the 49ers. They've had some good wins this season, but the past couple of games I've seen them play, like they beat the Jaguars 12-7. I don't know. It's not too big to me, I'd say. But I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Coming in at number 13. Oh, I'm sorry. The Vikings dropped 2 spots. So did the Rams. The Rams and Vikings both dropped 2 spots. Rams lost, but the Vikings won. Like I said, they barely beat the Jaguars. Coming in at number 13, we have a team that jumped up 2 spots on their bye. No, not on their bye. I'm sorry. The 49ers were on their bye. They did beat the Buccaneers by 3. It was a very close game. But I have the San Francisco 49ers, who are back over 500 now. Can see them moving up here in this, especially in this tier list, like putting the 49ers in a playoff loss tier, like a one and done tier. It just feels weird. But right now, at the way they're playing, like they barely beat the Bucks. I don't know. I can't rank them any higher right now. Not till I see more. And then coming in at number 14, which, by the way, going back to the 49ers, I'm pretty sure Christian McCaffrey is coming back very, very soon. Coming in at number 14, we have a team that dropped 7 spots after their loss. I believe they're our biggest faller on this list. We have the Atlanta Falcons, who I still think will make the playoffs and probably lose. But this team is just losing bad games. Like, they are losing games they should not be losing. They just lost to the Saints. I'm trying to think of another team that the Seahawks randomly beat them. The Steelers beat them, and I'm forgetting who their 4th loss was. It might have been... No, it wasn't the Saints. I believe it was the Bucks. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong, but I believe it was the Bucks. But yeah, the Falcons, they should have a much better record. I mean, they should be at least 8-2 right now, and they'd be way farther up this list. But yeah, they're losing to teams like the Saints and Seahawks. I mean, I can't rank you any higher than this. I'm sorry. I know the Saints got Derek Carr back, but still, that team is kind of in shambles. But they did get a good win. And spoiler alert: the Saints are they're one of my biggest risers on this list, but we'll get to them. But I think after this one, I'm going to drop it down a tier. I don't know if this team is going to make the playoffs this year. No, you know what? I'm going to keep them in this tier. The LA Chargers, they actually look really solid on both sides of the ball. That loss to the Cardinals doesn't really look that bad now, especially with like how good the Cardinals have been recently. So I think if you're a Chargers fan, you got to be feeling good. Like, I would not expect them to be at 6-3 right now, especially with how bad this receiving core is. But they've just been winning football games. A little bit of a cake schedule, but I think I think they'll have a chance to prove how good they are soon. But I could see them sneaking into the playoffs. I just don't see them going very far, at least not yet. They do drop 1 spot, by the way. Nothing really to take into consideration there. Coming in at number 16, we have the Cincinnati Bengals, who are at 4-6. Yeah, you got to feel for Joe Burrow. I don't know if they're making the playoffs. This defense is just awful. And I know I'm a Ravens fan. Like, I don't have much to I can't really say much because our defense is really bad. Like, basically that Thursday night game was just seeing whose defense was going to lose the game for them. But still, this Bengals defense is just so bad, and I feel bad for Joe Burrow, man, because he's doing everything he can to win, and he can't because his defense cannot get a stop. Like, how are you going to have Jamar Chase have over 200 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns, and you still lose the game? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. But, yeah, I think that's going to be their Achilles heel this year, which is so weird because Trey Hendrickson is having such a good year, their D end over there. He is having a breakout year, and it's still bad. I don't know. It's really weird. Great seasons from Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, Trey Hendrickson, and Chase Brown's even having a good year at the running back position. I don't know. It's just really weird. The Bengals are a weird team this year, but I don't know if they'll make the playoffs in a pretty stacked AFC. Coming in at number 17, we're going to have a team that actually just snapped their losing streak. The Miami Dolphins come in. They jump up 5 spots on this list with their win against the Rams. But yeah, like I said, the Dolphins with Tua, just a completely different team. They're finally winning football games now, and I think it'll continue. I would say, like, out of some of these teams, between the Dolphins and Bengals, I feel like the Dolphins have a better chance of reviving their season, just because the Bengals, I don't know, that defense is, like I said, just so bad. Coming in at number 18, we have a team that dropped 1 spot, but this team has been fighting. Baker Mayfield is a dog. I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. If you don't like Baker Mayfield, Please get out of my face. I love Baker so much. If there was one Ravens player, non-Ravens player that I could get a jersey of, it would be Baker. But yeah, he's been playing fantastic without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. He has been doing everything he can to try and win games against teams like the 49ers and Chiefs. Like, I don't know. I love that guy. But the Bucs still look better. I would say, even though they've been losing games, I still think they look better than we thought they would have. Coming in at number 19, we have the Seahawks, who dropped one spot on this list. I'm going to put them in the missed playoffs isn't terrible tier as well. But yeah, the Seattle Seahawks, I don't know. They were on their bye. This team is just like the most mid team ever. I pretty much say this every single time we do one of these videos, but it's true. Like, I don't know. The Seahawks, I don't think they're making the playoffs, but they're in like that weird freaking, I'm trying to think of an NBA comparison. They're like the Bulls, like what the Bulls were doing for like 10 years, where they're just like, they're still doing, honestly, where they're like not good enough to make a deep playoff run or sometimes even make the playoffs. But they're also not bad enough to like actually get a good pick. That's a good comparison, though. I'd say the Seahawks are like the 2010s, 2020s Chicago Bulls, late 2010s. Coming in at number 20, we have a team that jumped up one spot, and this team almost beat the defending champs. The Denver Broncos come in at number 20, and honestly, you can make a case that the Broncos are better than the Seahawks at this point. I'd say these teams are at kind of the same point in the season right now, where they're just kind of mid. But honestly, the Broncos, like what I saw from them against Kansas City, this team has a future, and I think honestly, Bo Nix could actually be their quarterback going forward. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Has Bo Nix won you guys over yet? To me, he kind of has. Coming in at number 21, we have the Indianapolis Colts, who are 4-6. They dropped one spot, and I don't know. They're not going to be terrible. Whoops. But I just don't like the direction they're going in. I love Joe Flacco. Don't get me wrong. I am like the number one Joe Flacco fan. But to bench your future quarterback that you spent a fourth overall pick on to try and make the playoffs, then you lose like 3 straight games, it's just not a good look. I don't know what they're doing right now. I don't know if the Colts will ever find their answer at quarterback. They might become the new Tennessee Titans, to be honest with you. And then coming in at number 22, I still believe in this team. I don't care what you say. They don't want to buy. I got to see one more game of Jameis playing bad. This team is just so good on defense, and now I think their offense is so much more improved than Jameis Winston. I'm still keeping them, this high. I had the Cleveland Browns coming in at number 22. Forget who they play this upcoming week, but you already know I'm going to be paying attention to that game, see if they're going to prove me right or make me look like an idiot. Coming in at number 23, we have a team that jumped up 5 spots. One of our bigger risers on this list this week. And we talked about them earlier. The New Orleans Saints come in at number 23. I think this is a perfect example of a team that's going to not make the playoffs, but they're not going to be terrible. I think they're going to start winning games with Derek Carr back. I think that this defense might start playing better as they get some people back from injury. But yeah, good win against the Falcons. That's a very, very good win to get with your starting quarterback coming back. And then coming in at number 24, we have our biggest riser this week, the New England Patriots, who I still think they're going to be bad. I don't know, dude. The Patriots are like the weirdest bottom feeder I've ever seen. They just win these random-ass games, and then they play the next week, and you're like, okay, yeah, this is the worst team in football. And then they win a game. I don't know. This team is just so weird, but they had a 19-3 victory over the Chicago Bears, who we'll get to, but yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about the Patriots right now. The fact that they've won 3 games, I think, is a victory in itself. Coming in at number 25, by the way, they rise. I don't know if I mentioned this, but they jumped up 7 spots on this list. I had them second to last week. Coming in at number 25, we have a team that they beat not too long ago with the New York Jets. not back in on the Jets yet. I kind of was. Like, I jumped them up quite a bit after they beat the Texans. But after this loss to the Cardinals, and I know the Cardinals are playing a lot better than expected, but still, man, disappointing. So disappointing. I can't rank them any higher than this. I'm sorry, but they dropped 6 spots to be here at number 25. And then coming in at number 26, we have a team that we just mentioned. They dropped 3 spots on this list, the Chicago Bears. I don't know what happened during their bye week, but this team has been playing like hot ass since they came back. They had like those 2 weeks before they went on bye where they were just playing so much better. And then we were kind of like back in on Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. And yeah, they just pulled us right back out. 19-3 against the Patriots at home. Are you kidding me? Get out of here. And then coming in at number 27, we have a team that dropped 2 spots on this list. Things are not looking good in Dallas. You have Micah Parsons literally calling out his own head coach. Jerry Jones, no idea what he's saying. I mean, he's like a sleepy Joe. I don't know. Cooper Rush doesn't look good. Trey Lance doesn't look good. This is just another one of those Cowboy meltdown seasons, and it's happening way too early. And then coming in at number 28, we have a team that actually jumped up 4 spots. Doesn't really matter. They're still going to be bad. And honestly, I'm considering doing this. At this point, I think the Cowboys are in the consideration for the number 1 draft pick, that would be kind of crazy. Coming in at number 28, though, we have the Carolina Panthers, who jump up 4 spots, like I said, defeating the Giants in Germany. You know, not too big of a feat, but still, Bryce Young getting a W. Love to see it. Another W. Back-to-back Ws. First win streak in like 3 years. Love to see it. And then coming in at number 29, we have a team that dropped 2 spots on this list. Still a bottom feeder. Like I said, all these teams are moving around. They're still ass. So the Jacksonville Jaguars at 2-8. And then coming in at number 30, we have a team that dropped 1 spot. They were on a bye. This team's hot ass. Raiders. And then to finish off, we're going to have the Giants, who dropped 5 spots after their loss against Carolina. And then we're going to have the Titans, who dropped 2 spots. Don't even remember who they played, to be honest, but I know they lost because they are bad. So, guys, let me know what you think. I thought it would be kind of fun after we did this if we looked at some other power rankings real quick, just to see kind of how mine, shapes up against theirs, see who, what team they're high on, what team they're low on. So I pulled up ESPN and NFL. But let me know in the comments what you guys think of my power ranking. What do you think of the tiers? Would you move anything around? And yeah, just let me know. But let's hop in. Let's take a look at this ESPN power ranking here. Okay, they have the Chiefs at 1. Don't agree with that. Lions, Ravens. Like I said, that's going to be the consensus top 3. And if it isn't, then you can just retire right now. The Bills at 4. Steelers at 5. I like that. Steelers and Eagles. I mean, we have the same top 6 right here. Not too bad so far. Commanders at 7. Vikings at 8. Oh, I would not have the Vikings over the Packers. I'm sorry. At this point, I know that the Vikings already beat the Packers this season. I would not have the Vikings over the Packers. Commanders, I like that. I could see the Commanders over the Packers. They're very similar. Cardinals at 10. That's exactly where we had them. Chargers at 11. 49ers at 12. Texans at 13. Damn, they dropped them way down. Falcons at 14. That's where we had them. Love to see that. Dang, they jumped the Broncos up after their 1-point loss to the Chiefs. I don't mind that. I think I had the Broncos at like 20, so I guess I'm kind of low on them. The Buccaneers at 16. Bengals at 17. Rams at 18. I mean, this is all looking... I think I had the Rams at like 12 still. I had them at 11 still. Let me know if I'm too high on the Rams. I don't know. I feel like they're still a good football team. Just had a weird loss last night. The Seahawks at 19. Yeah, I can fuck with that. I think that is exactly where I had them. The Colts at 20. I had them at 21. Dolphins at 21. I had the Dolphins at 17, so I'm a little higher on them. And then the Bears at 22. See, I don't understand this, though. The Dolphins, they have the Rams over the Dolphins, but The Dolphins just beat the Rams. And it's not like it was a fluke game because both of these teams had been dealing with injuries and now they're fully healthy. So that, I don't know. That was weird. The Bears at 22, I think that's way too high. They've been playing like hot butt cheeks. The Cowboys at 23, way too high. Jets at 24. Saints at 25. Okay. Like I said, I don't understand. Like the Saints just won with their starting quarterback. Their team is kind of back. I don't know why they're at 25, and they just won. Patriots at 26, Browns at 27. Let me know if I'm way too high on the Browns. I got them at 22. I'm a believer in them right now, man. Panthers at 28, which is where I had them. Jaguars at 29, Titans at 30, Giants at 31, Raiders as the worst team in the league. I could rock with that. Honestly, like my bottom three teams, the Raiders, Giants, and Titans, which is also their bottom three, you can move them. You can move them around as much as you want. I'm not going to get mad. And then let's check out NFL's. So they have the Lions at 1. I like that. I already like this list. Chiefs at 2. Bills at 3. Don't like it. Dude, I don't understand. The Ravens literally beat the Bills this season. I don't understand that. And not only did they beat them, they murdered them. How are you going to have them ranked over the Ravens? Eagles at 5. Vikings at 6. Vikings at 6 is way too high. I'm at 12. Let me know. Am I being way too low on the Vikings? Like I kind of feel like they've been having a cake schedule, but let me know if I'm just tripping. Steelers at 7. I think they got to be above the Vikings. Yeah, you have to have the Steelers above the Vikings. Commanders, and this is a Ravens fan saying this. Commanders at 8. That's fair. Packers way too low. Chargers at 10. I don't think they're a top 10 team. I think, dude. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna flip my lid. I'm gonna lose my shit, guys. The Cardinals literally beat the Chargers like 2 weeks ago. I don't understand power rankings, man. I don't understand like their logic here. Texans at 12, 49ers at 13, Falcons at 14. That's exactly where I had them. Broncos at 15, Bucks at 16, Seahawks at 17. Bengals, I would have the Bengals above the Seahawks still. I don't know. I would still have the Bengals over the Seahawks. Bears at 19, way too high. Dude, you got to be joking me. The Bears are better than the Dolphins. This list is atrocious. Rams at 21, Colts at 22, Saints at 23, Cowboys at 24, Jets at 25, Browns at 26, Patriots at 27, Panthers 28, Giants 29, Titans 30, Raiders 31, Jaguars 32. I don't know if I'd say the Jaguars are the worst team in the league right now. Like, yeah, they barely lost to the Vikings, and they had Mac Jones in there. I don't know. I wouldn't have the Jaguars last. I'd say out of these two power rankings, though, I would probably I think the ESPN one is better. I think I was a lot closer to these selections because this one, like this dude was just straight chiefing when he made this. The Bills over the Ravens, that makes no sense. Like I said, already played. Ravens destroyed them. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get this. But anyways, guys, that was a lot of fun. Let me know what you guys think of my list. If you guys haven't subscribed already, make sure to subscribe and like. Support your boy. I really appreciate, all the new subscribers recently, and it's been huge. It's been fun and makes me want to make these videos a lot more. So subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.